Okay, so this has been a fight that I've been waiting for personally. We are in the main card, and this is the fight leading up to the final main card bout. And before I get into it, I just want to let you guys know that I've also made the predictions for the other fights on this main card that came before this, as well as the prelims. If you're interested to check those fights out, those predictions out, subscribe to the channel to be notified when I post. And listen, this fight is taking place in Las Vegas, in UFC's Apex facility between Karl Roberson and Marvin Vettori. This is going to be an incredible fight. I already know who I'm going to go for because I'm Italian, so like I can't really go against my boy, the Italian dream. But regardless, I want to get into the odds first to let you guys know what society thinks. Sticky note right here. Marvin Vettori is the favorite at -230, and Karl Roberson is the underdog at +190. News actually came out recently that Roberson missed weight, which was really, unfortunate. But hey, like I don't really blame him. Like, dude, training in quarantine, I think I've gained like 10 kg in quarantine. So, I mean, I can't really be the guy to talk. But, this basically just means that Marvin Vettori is going to get like most of the bonuses, an additional bonus, whatever. But yeah, let's start with Karl Roberson first, nicknamed Baby K. He's got a record of 9 wins and 2 losses. Those 9 wins have come 2 via knockout, technical knockout, 4 via submission, and 3 via decision. Those 2 losses have come from submission. They're both really tall fighters, both ranging from 6 feet, 6'1" in the Roberson's case. And of his wins, I think they're all very diversified, which is really interesting to look at. Because he has the ability to knock you out, he has the ability to submit you, or he could take it to the final decision. He could do it in all sorts of ways. At the same time, however, I do realize that he has a bit less of an experience in the UFC than Marvin Vettori, because he only has 11 fights in the UFC. He's won the majority of them, but still, he's a fighter that, compared to Vettori, could use a little more experience in the octagon. So how is he coming into Fight Night Saskatoon, Karl Roberson? He is currently coming in with a 2-fight win streak. He beat Wellington Turman in July 2019 via a split decision. And he also defeated, more recently in November 2019, Roman Kopylov by rear naked choke. Having said this, however, he hasn't fought in 2020 yet, which is really, a factor to consider maybe. There could be a factor of ring rust, the hype, especially with the whole pandemic that was going on. Definitely interesting to look at. And before I go any further, I just want to take a look at some of the highlights of Karl Roberson. Okay, so this was the fastest knockout that Karl Roberson did against his opponent, Ryan Spann. It was like a 15-second knockout, which was absolutely incredible. And let's look at this. Okay, so fighters, okay, are we good? This was the UFC Contender Series. And so these 2 fighters wanted to make a name for themselves 100%. They get in. They start jabbing. He gets rocked right away. Roberson gets rocked after 5 seconds, not even. After the first 4 seconds of the fight, he gets rocked by a jab by Ryan Spann, which goes to show the strength that this fighter has. And so at this point, I'm like, okay, it's over for Roberson. It's over. It gets taken to the cage. He's pressured. But Roberson defends himself well. He throws the knees up there, tries to defend his guard. He has that potential guillotine choke in there laid out for him because of the pressure that Ryan Spann has, puts his head forward. And so again, they're on the cage, high pressure still, and then Roberson just starts unleashing. Boom, boom. Notice it was sort of like McGregor and Donald Cerrone, where he first figured out the shoulder and then before he popped it. Here, if we go back, we can actually see here. Look at his left hand. You see how his left hand is on his head to sort of measure the fight, to measure the distance before then unleashing the elbows. And then boom, 1, 2, 3, 4, and then it's just over. It's crazy how Roberson was completely able to turn this fight over. From being rocked 4 seconds into the fight to coming back in this fashion and just completely destroying your opponent like that, it takes a true fighter. Damn. But who is he facing? So he's facing the Italian dream, Marvin Vettori. He's going to be my pick for the fight because, listen, this is one of the first times that I've seen an Italian UFC fighter reaching such high levels in the UFC rankings. And so I have to go for my boy, Marvin Vettori. He has a record of 14-4. Of his wins, he's actually a submission expert. He's got 2 wins via knockout, technical knockout, 8 wins via submission, and 4 via decision. And all his 4 losses have come from a decision. He's fought incredible fighters. An example right away is Israel Adesanya. A fighter like Israel Adesanya was not able to submit him or knock him out. The fight ended in a final decision. And so with a fighter of this caliber, you already know that he's going to put it all on the line. I saw before that they had like a hotel altercation leading up to this fight. And I saw the weigh-ins yesterday as well. And like they were the only 2 fighters that didn't shake hands. Like Vettori was just like looking at him like death staring. And so that just adds to the fuel as to why I think he's going to dominate this fight 100%. And so Marvin Vettori, how is he coming in to UFC Fight Night in Saskatoon? He is coming from 2 straight wins. His last 2 fights were in July 2019, where he won via unanimous decision, and also in October 2019, where he beat Andrew Sanchez via unanimous decision. And so, I mean, there could potentially, again, here be a factor of ring rust because he hasn't fought in almost a year. But at the same time, with a fighter like Vettori, I really think that this won't really play a big toll on his fight game. I think he's ready for this fight. I think he wants this fight more than ever. You see it on his come up and just the leading up to this fight in terms of the interviews, in terms of the face-offs, the altercations outside of it. He wants to win this fight. And listen, I really want to see, I'm going to look at I want to look at some of this fighter's highlights. Okay, so this fight was between Marvin Vettori and Igor Araujo, which took place in May 2016. And listen, if there's any battle that's going to show his submission game, it's going to be this one. So it starts off here, feeling each other out, whatever. Fight still has to start. All right, so the fight starts here. Feeling each other out once again. Slow jabs, slow movement. Bang, engages quickly. So that's just the explosivity that a fighter like Vettori has. Like, start slow and then quickly can explode. So right here, again, feeling him out. Avoids a kick. And then here, quickly pushes him. Look at that pressure. Flying knee, and then engages. And now he has him where he wants him. There's a guillotine there. A deep guillotine. That's exactly what Vettori wants. So he engaged him, exploded on him, high knee there, and then boom, grabbed the hold of the guillotine, and now here we are, where he wants to be. Bang, deep guillotine, spins him over. It's reversed. Oh my goodness, this is a deep one. It could be over any second. He gets out of it though. He got out of it, and so Vettori still needs to get back to the position that he wants to be in truly. Boom, he re-flips him again. Re-grabs the hold of the guillotine, and then just started to unleashes. Man, it's unbelievable. It's so funny how Araujo is just trying to hold on to dear life. He's just like, stop hitting me. But it's completely ineffective. Like, Vettori has completely guarded him, and here again, he's going for that guillotine choke. And he gets it. He gets it right here. Let go again. Goes back to the punches. And so here again, he's just applying that high pressure. Bang, bang, continues. Big elbows here. He throws again, and there. That is the final guillotine. Look at that deep guillotine. And he has to tap. And that's the fighter that Vettori is. He's an absolute monster. The way that he was able to do that. The guillotine choke. I think the guillotine is one of his favorite, submissions. Like, of his latest 15 fights around, I think he's put 3 people out via guillotine choke. Specifically, it was Giorgio Pietrini in 2015. He also used this against Igor Araujo, and right after that, he ended it in the same fashion against Alberto Emiliano Pereira. And so that's the type of fighter that, a guy like Vettori is. He's an absolute monster all across the board. He's my pick. Listen, I'm scared of this dude. And so, I think Vettori is going to take this potentially via a submission because, Karl Roberson, his 2 only losses have come from a submission. So although a majority of his wins have come from submission, he's also lost both fights via submission. So I could see how his strength could also be his weakness against a fighter like Vettori. And so I think this fight is going to be ended via submission by victory of Vettori. There's definitely animosity here between these two fighters, but that's how I think it's going to go. I'm also interested to know what you guys think. How do you guys think it's going to end? Comment down below who you think is going to win. At the same time, if you've made it this far, make sure to check out some of my other predictions. Subscribe to the channel for more content. And if you do subscribe and I see you guys in the next one, then I'll see you guys in the next one.